What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to evaluate SEO competition at scale. So, this is a difficult topic and a difficult thing to do. In my experience, there are none of the major tools provide reliable data at scale. It's more of you kind of find a general term and then you can sort of maybe niche down into that term on a list and then get a sort of at a glance average using a large variety of terms. So that'd be my recommendation in terms of how to approach it. And it takes a couple of angles with any given tool to be able to do that. You can sort of do it with, I guess, maybe half or a quarter of the tools out there. I like to use SE ranking and SpyFu and keywords everywhere. Pardon me, because those are cheaper. You can get more data at scale in terms of keyword research, especially. I have used Ahrefs and SEMrush and Moz and all of the big tools on the market. I've used pretty much all of them as far as I know, and they just don't give reliable data at scale or consistently. So just keep that in mind as a big disclaimer. I'm going to show you my approach to this and also a really unique way where we can use Scrapebox to look at uh, competition metrics at scale in a way that you've probably never seen before. So stay tuned. Okay. So in the last video on SEO niches, a really big video, I spent a good like an hour and a half going through all my methods for um, how to find the best SEO niches for local SEO, e-commerce, affiliate SEO, trending topics, etc. And then I took that data from keywords everywhere, and I did a few permutations on like buy. I did um, merged it with a keyword multiplier on the prefixing it with the word buy, and also doing those terms with a suffix for sale and maybe a couple other variations. And then I combined them all and sorted them by cost per click and filtered them based on a minimum search volume according to keywords everywhere of 5,000 searches per month global, and pardon me, a minimum cost per click of 50 cents, which is pretty low, but I think I think the CPC is broad with the tools with those tools out there. They claim to pull data from Google AdWords, but then the values oftentimes vary between the utilities. Like I think with SpyFu, it it might be targeted to the USA. Yeah, I think it's targeting the USA, and that might be the reason why the data is so much smaller. So that's kind of a consistent issue. It's also hard to filter here on SpyFu with custom data because um, it it has to apply two different criteria at the same time. But anyway, so I do like SpyFu though because it tends to evaluate the keyword difficulty with higher metrics usually, and then it does provide a lot more keywords than the other tools, so I appreciate that. But when I sort by keyword difficulty, which is not a trustworthy metric really on any platform, but I just out of curiosity, I wanted to see what it came up with, and so we'll talk about that in a moment. But let me finish explaining that this data here on this pastebin file, which I will share below this video, you can access this if you want to take a look at it, based on those criteria, sorted by CPC, minimum search volume of 5K plus per month, right? And so you can take a look at this. It came down to 900 keywords that survive that criteria. And so these would be sourced from Google shopping categories. So technically e-commerce niches. Some of these are, obviously, like plumbing is not an e-commerce niche, but so some of them are real basic. But some of them are real promising, like shipping supplies. That's promising. Hair loss treatments, respiratory care. Let's see, SIM cards, garage door openers. So it's a very, of course, generic keywords, just there to give you raw data and based on from an e-commerce standpoint, and then you can take that and pivot it into a tool like SpyFu, or you can add keywords everywhere to Chrome and individually check competition when you enter it in. And so I wanted to see what SpyFu said, and it was interesting to see the number of search volume is lower, which is probably US focused, but there's some interesting niches here, right? Some interesting products. Like I never even heard of eye pillows until I sorted the data like this. And windsurfing boards, that's pretty interesting and unique. Softball uniforms is unique. Tabby socks is pretty interesting. Oboe reeds, I thought, was very specific. Disc golf bags, I want to check that one out. But when I plugged it back into Google, eye pillows, it of course showed a higher volume, which is global, I'm sure. And then when you look at the on page, this uses Moz, I believe. It's much higher, or not just the SEO metric, the off page and the on page. I usually look at the off page competition, because the on page, it tends to be higher, but the off page is really what I often pay attention to. And that's much higher than what SpyFu is saying. So if we also use a free utility, you can use, where is it? From Ahrefs, if you just wanted to get an idea. Now, Ahrefs also is not consistent. But like I said before, if you look at scale, then, like, if we plugged iPillows back in to look at a bunch of iPillow variations, then we can kind of get an idea at scale of how difficult it might be. So let's see. It looks like they added the data back, but then they're starting to truncate it to this utility. You can see the direct links are not super large. And so a part of it is definitely the fact that there are these big brands like Etsy, Amazon, and Walmart that are ranking for this term. And then you do have independent brands, but some of those are pretty competitive. I looked at one of them, let's see, Shop Half Moon in SE ranking, and it showed 3,000 keywords for the domain, 600 referring domains. So that's a pretty solid independent blog ranking for that term. Not to say that you couldn't rank, because there's not that many links going to specific pages, but Ahrefs is saying you just need 12 referring domains to get into the first page. I don't think so. I think that's a little bit I think that's a bit romantic. But anyway, so yeah, that's a variety of those are a variety there are a variety of ways of looking at things. And what I would probably do, looking at just the SERP itself, normally it has some of the metrics below the SERPs, but for some reason it's not showing it below the SERP positions for this query. But you can see what I would often do is look at the SERP to see if big brands are ranking, and then determine if those independent entities are of lesser competition, that I might have an opportunity to rank a page there. So where was that other? Let's look at everyday yoga. Of course not. I hate clicking on links because now they're going to show me yoga ads. But so that's a nice independent page, and there are a lot of products on this page, even with schema. So that's a significant competitor. Let's look at the domain, and then let's look at the exact URL. Wow, yeah. So see that domain, 36,000 keywords. That's a solid competitor. And then if we looked at the exact URL, the exact URLs are always less competitive, but that one's 3 referring domains, but it's ranking for a variety of places. I mean, that's a significant domain authority there. So that's a competitive page. Not saying that you couldn't rank there. It's not as low as Spy Fu makes it seem. 9 keyword difficulty. That's that's like making a page and having one link going to it or something. So something else that one could do is, but in terms of how difficult is it really, I would say it's probably in the 40s range, really, 40 out of 100. Because you have a lot of schema here you're competing with. You have some solid independent blogs, and then you have big brands. You have big retail stores. So it's in like, I say it's in the 40, 50 range, maybe. But you never know. Like, you can't really know how competitive something is until you actually get the page made and you get a few links going to it, and then you can see where does it land in the SERPs. If you get a few links going to it, the page is made, it's solid. You get a few links going to it, and it doesn't show up in the top 100 after a few months, then you can assume it's pretty competitive. But if you get a few links going to it, and all of a sudden you see it at page 3, then man, hey, that's way less competitive than you might think it is. So let's also grab. I wanted to see how competitive disc golf bags was, because that seems like a weird little niche. 18,000 searches a month. Oh man, look at that. 36 off page difficulty. That one is a lot less competitive. It's got Amazon there, dynamic discs, Amazon disc golf, some schema, a lot of schema, geez. Disc site. It's mostly independent. Gotta throw. that's a silly that's a silly domain name. Grip EQ. So I mean, people are clearly onto this with these independent pages. But discount disc golf. Let's check out that page or that website just out of curiosity. Wow. Oh, that's Google. I was like, hold on a second, man. That disc golf page is really going strong there. Okay, so this one 7K. So that's a significant competitor. 500 referring domains. So yeah, I mean that's definitely not inconceivable. Like, it just, if you just wanted to have a website ranking for disc golf bags, right? Then you could I mean, it would cost you some G's, but you could compete on this page most likely. I'm curious to see what is the. I mean, you have so much competition though after those first slots. I'd almost say like you need to be in that above that fold there, because there's so much here. There's so many pictures and schema. I doubt there's many click throughs on these results below. They're giving me. I hate the. Well, I should say I hate, but I really don't like the fact they removed the pagination system. But let's look at this. Gotta go, gotta throw. I'm curious. I used to be able to copy links from here. I don't know why this is such a hassle. Oh well. Let's look at this guy. Okay, it's about the same. Oh no, he's got even more referring to him. He's got even better rankings, huh? That's interesting. His disc golf bag page just isn't ranking as well. Anyways, so that would be a much better opportunity. But just out of curiosity, let's go back to the iPillows stuff, and let's throw iPillows back into. I already did it actually into SpyFu, and then let's grab some of these terms And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Scrapebox on these iPillow terms, and I'm going to look at page results in Yahoo. Now, Yahoo, well, so you might think, well, that doesn't have any bearing on Google, but the thing is that there is a relatively correlated quantity of page results at scale. The results are very similar between Yahoo and Google. They're not the exact same, but they are very similar. And so, because it's so much easier to scrape those numbers, it's something that we can do at a large scale for a lot of terms, which kind of gives us a better idea about the opportunities. Like, we can use it as a competition, a frame of reference for competition. And I'll talk about page results in a moment. So let's export this file. Do I want to filter this? I might want to filter this by some of these criteria. Let's do search volume needs at least. Well, let's just leave that because let's see here. The pillows, iPillow. It's got to contain iPillow. All right, let's apply this. Cut that in half. And there's a lot of mess. Let me see here. What happens if I go? Let's have it show turn to 50 here. Just want to see what the volume looks like down below. Wow, okay. Can I show all these on a page? Let's try this. iPillow reviews, relaxation iPillow. It might be good to, because the volume is lower because I think this is probably just the USA. And I kind of want to I want to leave it open to the greater search volume for English terms. So, but see there it shows 0, which is odd. Usually it's much larger. Lavender fish eye pillow. Huh. So this one is saying 0. So it's kind of hard to tell also how much volume there really is. I mean, if the term is picked up at all, maybe we should just leave it in there rather than trying to filter through. But the thing is that with more terms at scale, it's going to be the larger body of terms is going to make it less competitive at a glance. So we kind of almost want to look at just the bigger terms. So let's see what we have here. Maybe we can reduce it to like 100 searches a month. Let's try best lavender eye pillow here. Let me close some of these. Let me close this. So that's saying 20 searches a month, certain amount of competition. So maybe that's odd. Maybe we'll just leave the search volume alone though. We dropped it a little bit. So let's export this. And actually we can just export the keywords to clipboard here. So let me do that. And then I'll hop over to the server and we'll just drop these in here. So it looks like it's about, it only copied 500. So that's no big deal. We'll just let that be. But let's do, how many results do we want to do? Let's probably do the top 30 because Yahoo actually gives less results because there's not so much schema. I counted the organics earlier and it was like 7. So this might give us, maybe we should do 20. Let's do 20. and I have my data center proxies, or not my data center proxies, my residential rotators in there for Yahoo. So we'll start harvesting here, and this shouldn't take very long. Very small sample, and we can always skip ahead. Yeah, it's going really quickly. So what we're going to do is then take those URLs that, did I do that wrong? Let me think. Probably need to do that. Actually, no, I did do that wrong. Well, there's two things we can do. We can take the URLs this provides, and we can feed this into DOM Detailer. And for those who don't know, DOM Detailer, you can buy credits, and they basically sell you Moz and Majestic credits at scale. So you can check a bunch of URLs in this, and that can give us a glance of the referring domains that are going into a lot of those pages, and that can give us an average for the niche. You might be able to look at citation flow too. Pardon me. So that's one way to do this, to look at competition at scale. And that's way cheaper using DOM Detailer. How many credits do I have in there? Okay, I don't have too many, but enough to do this. And then the other thing is to do the page results like I was talking about. And so let me check. The success rate is 100% almost, except for, looks like a glitch there. Nice. So exit to main. And then we'll sort this, remove everything, which is not a URL. And I think I'll just copy this and save this to my temp file. Yeah. And we don't need duplicates of pages, so let's drop this down to remove duplicate domains. Yeah. And copy these, enter those there. Now, I made this a long time ago. This is a custom data grabber for Yahoo page results. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at edit custom data grabber. I should do a dedicated video on this, but it's really on the topic. So for this utility, we can edit the module masks, and this is what it looks like. So before and after, about, and search results. And so if you go to yahoo.com, and you go to pillows, right here you can see about search results. So all it is copying that number right there. And so for those who don't know, like these search results are actually a pretty, I mean, I don't know exactly how the companies out there do it these days, but in the past, like a few years ago, several years, maybe 5 years ago, something, I used to test. I did a number of tests, and I used to do keyword research using the Google competition utility here under add-ons. There is the Google Competition Finder. And the way this works is it collects page results from Google, and it's more difficult to do because Google starts blocking proxies more quickly. But you can actually have it go pretty slowly on a residential proxy, and you can do sweeps and it'll collect results. But probably not super consistent. Sorry about that. And so this is basically the same thing. Now, in the past, I was able to do a case study comparing the page results with the metrics tools, and I found that at scale, the page results, like when I had this one file, I might still be able to find it somewhere, but it's a pest control file that I did a while back where I did conditional formatting, and I color coded the results for the page results column, and I color coded the results for the SEO competition based on, I think it was Moz at the time. And it showed that there was a correlation between higher numbers on the page results and higher difficulty on the SEO difficulty score that Moz provided at the time. And so, and to my knowledge, all of the SEO competition tools they show pretty similar competition correlation at scale. So this is a neat tool. Like if you wanted to be able to look at competition at scale using Scrapebox, you could kind of do that. It's just as inconsistent as other utilities, but the difference is that you can sort of it's just a different way of being able to look at relative competition. And certainly there's something about the larger the number of page results, it tends to be more competitive. Like we see a lot of people are aware of the topic and a lot of things qualify. There tends to be big entities that are, fiefdom websites that are kind of trying to dominate those places. So if you can find stuff with page results less than a million, less than 500,000, I mean, that's way less competitive. And there's a very strong likelihood that the top 10 results are much less competitive also. Obviously, with specialty niches, that can vary, but I just wanted to show you guys this method. It's pretty neat. And you can see that, look at the results. Like they're very similar to what Google's were. Amazon and Etsy, they have very well mined ranking higher. Some Amazon stuff. Looks like they have a video schema there. Looks like this one is different. Buyer's guide. Let's look at page 2. Another Etsy, another Amazon, some different organic listings, Amazon. Yeah, so some of their organic competitors are actually different. Let's see. Yeah, they don't even pick up those entities that we saw. So that's curious, actually. Who's this? Elizabeth W. I'd like to see how competitive her Shopify page is. And this is different, by the way, using SE ranking, because it shows us this has to do with like SERP database keywords. So I like to look at the keywords ranking using this tool. It's just easier to do. I might be able to find a way to do that with Scrapebox. Maybe like if you were to just scrape like all the results for a bunch of keywords in that vertical or whatever, like iPillows, and then actually do a data pivot table on the domains. That would actually, I'd need to do a case study on that. That would be really cool, because that would allow you to see how many times those domains are ranking for those various keywords that you did. So yeah, that's to be continued on that. I don't want to show that in this one because it'll take me a while to figure out how to do that. But okay, so back to the server. Let's run this version of things. Now I gotta think. I have to create the permutations, don't I? And I must have a model out here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I saved this text file for this purpose. So Yahoo page results. So we got to go over here to the keywords, and we got to merge this Yahoo page results string. So where is it? YPR. Does it go before? Oh, shoot. Oh, no, yeah, that's what we want to do. So we don't need this one, obviously. And then we just got to copy this and remove this space in between here. And actually, we need to remove the space from all of them, right? Well, let's take a look at how does it look up here? It's a plus symbol. Okay. So we need to find and replace space with the plus symbol. Replace all. There we go. I'll save that file. And then I'm just going to copy actually I can clear this and I can paste these into this region here. So this is going to search using the grab checker for the custom data grabber for those page results, and it should work. Save URLs with extracted data. Wait a second. Yes, that's what we want to do. It should be ready to save to individual files. Okay, let's start this. Okay. YPR. Let's see. Total records saved to individual files. It should show it here, unless they've changed the way it's configured. Maybe that's just a detection and I have to actually open the files. So looks like some of them were not successful, which is not a big deal. Let's open the data folder though. Yeah, nice. And so it shows it here. So then we would want to grab this and open this up in the spreadsheet viewer. Let me put this over here so it doesn't, I don't forget about it. I want to hit, maybe I want to see if it starts all the way over. We don't want that. Yeah, so let's not do that. So yeah, it's unusual that it didn't show the complete data there in it when it normally would have success on the harvester. Let's open one of these spreadsheet files, and I'm going to make a new tab and drop the data in, and then delimit it with text to columns from break down the delimiter from what am I staring the space from the piping finish, and then expand this stuff. And so I'll create a column up here. This should be URL, and then this would be page results, right? And so then I'm going to freeze this up here, freeze this top row, and actually I want to put some formatting here just to make it a more pleasant experience. Oops. And I'm going to add this filter here. So then I can just sort this from largest to smallest. And this lets me see which query strings are the most competitive in terms of page results from Yahoo's angle. So they're saying how to make your own lavender eye pillow, how to make a weighted eye pillow. So the cool thing about this system is like we're not looking at keyword research that maybe comes from Google Ads. We're not looking at any of these, however these tools estimate clicks or other data. We're actually looking at what does the search engine say? What do these search engines detect in terms of qualifying pages? So even though Yahoo is not the same results as Google, we're still able to see that Yahoo is still a search engine that has the ability to pick up results based on words. So it doesn't matter that it's not Google. We can just look at the pages being picked up, and based on that number, we can kind of get a unique look at the competition for some of these queries, right? So what happens when we turn it in, and a lot of these make sense. How to make an eye pillow, how to make an herbal eye pillow. Let's use some of these. Like this, they're saying this is the most competitive term, 87 million page results. Okay, so let's actually drop this into Google and just see how competitive is that. So the best app lavender eye pillow has 4 million results, 4.5 million results. That's not very much search volume. Let's look at eye pillow. Eye pillow. 178 million results, 6,600 searches a month, 60 off-page difficulty. Now let's look at, how to make your own lavender eye pillow. Wow, that one has 9 million searches, 9.5 million searches or results that they're qualifying. So that's twice as competitive as just iPillow in general. And they're saying there's no searches, but for anyone who's seen some of my past videos, we know that Google is now hiding, of course, some of their volume in Google Ads. I've added things that are major terms, like I think one of them I added in the past was billing support software or something. At the time they didn't show volume for something like that. Um, how to make an eye pillow 170. It's hard to tell. Obviously there's more results than just for eye pillows. It says it's less competitive, but like we've been saying, like you don't really know until you start trying to rank for something, right? I would assume it being so long tail that it would be easier to rank than just eye pillow, right? But it's interesting that we're seeing Yahoo is saying there are a huge number of pages that they're qualifying for something like that. So, anyways, let's turn this on its head and let's look at smallest to largest. So then you have some unusual terms. Gaiam, Imak, Yala eye pillows, heaviest eye pillows. That's curious. Let's look at heaviest eye pillows. That sounds promising. Saying 3 million searches, and they're saying this is competitive. That's curious. It's not showing the SERP listing competition anymore. That's kind of a bummer. They got traffic here. Oh wait, maybe it's just glitched. Maybe it's glitched. I have to look into that. Because it used to show up here. Maybe I could change it somewhere. Oh, pardon me. So that's a big brand. That's Etsy, Amazon, Prana Sutra. Might be an Indian website. Mellowed, Yoga Direct. So that seems kind of competitive. Doesn't super seem like low competition that Yahoo is suggesting. And it could just be some of these terms that don't, haven't indexed a lot of pages yet. So maybe there's an angle where it's like you don't want to look at, the absolute lowest because maybe they haven't picked up a lot of results. But maybe if you looked at the biggest ones and then kind of scroll down a little bit, maybe that would be where they're picking up terms and there's some volume there. But then they're like herbal eye pillows sounds like a good one. Let's try that one. Maybe it'll be more on par. It's all over the place. That's why it's so difficult to rely on this stuff. And some of the first tutorials I saw years ago were you want to look for things using all in title. So you do a bunch of these all in title searches at scale, and then that kind of lets you really know using page result stuff and things like from an on-page standpoint. For those who don't know what all in title is, you can put so Google search operator all in title like this, and then look at the page results, and that kind of shows you an on-page stuff based on on-page competition on the keyword. But it's not really necessary because you can just look at the on-page metrics are reliable. It's the other stuff that you kind of got to question, the search volume especially. But this one is saying it's a lot less competitive in terms of links. There's Amazon though. A ton of schema data. Etsy, herbal animals. That's cute. That's a cute brand name. Herbal animals. Oh, I see. That's just a brand. Oh, are they herbal though? That'd be cool. Perry Home Naturals, herbal and urban flaxseed eye pillows. Nice. So that would be something I might look at just to see what's the competition there. Decent number of keywords, but look at that. I mean, 30 referring domains on the website. That's much lower competition. So that would kind of tell me if they're ranking there, from a manual standpoint, if you can find like a couple of pages like that are lower competition up there on the first page, 2 or 3 that are like that, that's something you could rank for. But the question is there enough volume to even make that worthwhile also? And it's hard to say because you get so many different reports on how much volume there really is. There really might be. Let's look at this one. Shoot. It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar number of terms and referring domains on the root page. So that's like 2 or 3 witnesses, as they say, in the mouth by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a thing shall be established. So I kind of view that as, you can get on that first page um, with a variety of links for a term like that. So that's much more reliable. But of course, it's hard to tell in terms of volume. So. But okay, so anyways, let's also look at where's the. So that was a good test in terms of insights. Let's also look at those URLs from metrics utility standpoint using DOM detailer. So let's throw those in there. Add from text box. Might take a minute. Should have put this in there earlier. So let's close some of these links. So yeah, those would be some of the ways that I might use this stuff at scale. Like you find some sort of vertical, right? And then you can grab seeds of the vertical and then maybe use something or other to try to determine competition at scale. There might even be a summary, like keyword overview. Let's see. Saying it's low competition at scale, but of course you can't. It's hard to tell, you know. But you can take those terms and then throw them into something like keywords everywhere, uh, or even use this scrape box trick to find page results and or to scrape URLs to then use in something like DOM detailer here. You probably want to filter out some of the social media pages, of course. But see, it's pulling up a lot of big brands, so that kind of distorts the picture. Let's see, some of these like gone like halfway through, and it's already picking up competitive entities. So, and that was first 2 pages. But it might be a way to look at competition, like in terms of if they're on the first couple pages and they're ranking for some of this stuff, picking up a certain quantity of referring domains, it might be good to look at some of those, filter out some of those entities, like just to see um, which of those entities has like a really low number of referring domains, and then see if you can figure out which pieces of content are ranking at scale for that stuff. Obviously, you don't know if there's a total, if there would be a crossover with Google, but I mean, if you at scale, you're going to have some of those things happening, right? So, anyways, that's pretty much it. Just a number of interesting approaches to being able to determine keyword competition by picking a seed term and then grabbing a bunch of terms in the vertical and then cross-checking those with scraping and with something like DOM detailer for metrics at scale. and then manually checking some things like that with keywords everywhere, and even just looking at what are the things that are ranking. I'll have to do a follow-up on this to see if I can demonstrate a way where we can see a data pivot table on um, like how did I describe it? Being able to record the quantity of certain domains. Like, anyways, I don't know exactly the way I put it earlier, but we'd have to figure it out. So stick with me. We'll see if I can figure out a unique way to look at the data at scale that is different, that allows us to tangibly see what is ranking out there, and on some of those lower competition blogs, you know. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in some of the sequels to this video, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.